Over the last 5 years, we have seen tons and tons of games claw their way to reach the top of the gaming mountain. We've seen games innovate in ways never thought of before, break world records on Twitch and YouTube, and become critically acclaimed among all of the masses. And of course, we have seen almost all of those games fall down back to the depths where they started. Or sometimes even worse than where they started. Think of any popular game in the last, 5 or so years, or even a popular game right now, and what I just said will apply to it. Except there's this one game that at the moment seems to be defying the trend that all these other games have followed. That trend being start out kind of small, become insanely popular due to Twitch and YouTube, become loved and liked, and over the course of months of becoming too popular, become despised and hated within, a year or so of the developers of the game not treating it with the love and respect it needed, it kind of falling out of the good graces with everyone. But yes, one game. One game seems to have defied the trend that all of these other games have followed. A game from a small, almost indie-like studio that came out of the woodworks to create one of the most innovative games that we have seen this generation. And that game is, of course, Minecraft. Minecraft, of course, back in its heyday, was the most popular video game pretty much on planet Earth. Everybody, basically knew about it, and even knew, actually how to play it and things about it, just from word of mouth, like their kids or other TV shows or YouTube or Twitch or whatever. But in the last, couple years, Minecraft has seen a huge resurgence, with mainly content creators doing speedruns or, SMPs. I still to this day have not learned what the whole dream SMP is. And from what I've seen on Twitter and all the horrible things I've seen on there, I am never going to want to. But Minecraft has almost kind of been diminished in people's eyes. It doesn't really hold the reputation that it once did for most people for one main reason. We grew up. I know this may come as a shock to a lot of you, but Minecraft is still a rather simplistic game despite all the cool things you can do with it, and it is a kid's game. So when the kids who grew up with it saw it getting popular and this new generation taking it on, they almost kind of felt like they were having something that was once precious stolen from them. And with the new cringy, kind of Reddit humor it's associated with now, it's definitely not it's definitely not what it once used to be. And no, of course, Minecraft isn't going to be the subject of this video. Just because this game recovered from a dying state doesn't mean that it can't crash and burn all over again, but I'm just saying it's been something miraculous to behold. Anyways, let's talk about Apex Legends. On February 4th of 2019, Apex Legends came literally out of nowhere. No one expected it to be released, except for a good amount of content creators who were told about the game beforehand and immediately picked it up and decided to stream it. As many of you could probably, guess and or know, Apex Legends did extremely well. And for a long time, it did pretty good. It was one of the, most streamed games on Twitch. It had a pretty large player base, and, you could ask, a random person on the street, and there was a decent chance they knew about it. But of course, with other games being released, it started to see a bit of a decline. Of course, all these other games that people had probably played before it, like Fortnite or Overwatch, they of course got more updates. We started to see more new games come out, like Valorant or Warzone, or of course we got even Fall Guys and Among Us. We got all these games. There were a lot of new games, and of course resurgences for other games that had long been forgotten, like Minecraft. There's just so much content in the gaming industry nowadays that you have to keep up with, and it really feels like there's kind of too much to track for one person. But regardless of that fact, Apex Legends was very innovative. People adopted the movement system and the ping system into a lot of games, and I honestly think that was for the best. Anyone who'd ever played Titanfall before knew that, it was a very different kind of shooter, and it really felt unique. So seeing this implemented in a battle royale style was very nice, and tons of other, imitators immediately came along. But Apex Legends and Respawn and EA were not really reaping the rewards of all of this, I guess, flattery, as we should call it. Because, the serious form of, flattery is imitation. Is that the quote? Is that the saying? I don't know. Over the months, their player base started to dwindle as they went to go try out the new fancy toy and said, "Here you go, Dad. Take this old stupid toy. I don't want it anymore. Also, I'm gonna go move to Mom's house because she bought me all these toys, and she actually comes to my baseball games, and She actually asks me how my day was and if I'm having trouble on my math homework because I don't understand how integers work. She helps me. Anyways, it started to seem like Apex Legends was dead. Now, people always throw that term around with games all the time. A game I've seen happening to a lot in the last year is Overwatch, and there is honestly some fair claim to say that that game is dead, but it still, you know, boasts an insanely ravenous fan base with people who would literally die for that game and Blizzard as a company, despite its very low numbers, let's say. Numbers do not necessarily equivalate to how alive a game is, but recently, within the past few months, Apex Legends has slowly started to take its place back on the throne. And of course, you know, Respawn has mainly kept consistent with the way they've updated the game. Look at all these other games. Let's take Fortnite, for example. Fortnite, honestly, was a banger back in the day. Back when it first dropped, I played the living hell out of it, and I think I clocked like 1,000 hours before Season 3 even ended. I was in love with that game because it was one of the most unique experiences I have ever had, especially with a third-person shooter. And then they started adding a bunch of stupid fucking MOBA items, and it just ruined it. The game obviously wanted to be something that was known more for being kind of like a wacky, you know, kid-like fun sandbox experience rather than a competitive esport battle royale. It's been trying to carry itself as both for a long time, but it's definitely been struggling because of that. Honestly, I see a lot of people who compete for these top, you know, organizations for esports in Fortnite that aren't really respected by a lot of other people because of the game they play. And honestly, I can kind of see where those people who don't respect them are coming from. However, Apex Legends has remained pretty consistent with the way it's treated its game. It's never done anything insanely outlandish, and honestly, if you were someone who'd only played the game when it first came out, before a single update ever came out, you'd be able to come and pick it up right now really easily because it hasn't really changed that much. The additions to the game have just been an improvement on what's already there instead of trying to expand it into making it into a new game. That's never what Respawn has really been about. And I think a big reason as to why Apex has this huge resurgence recently and seems like it's going to be on top for a long time, I think we need to look at not necessarily what Apex Legends has done right, but what other game developers have done wrong. I've talked about this in a couple other videos on the channel, but there's just no way to get around it. Warzone and other games like Fortnite have done a bad job of updating their games. Look at all these games. Just look at all of them. Overwatch, Warzone, Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege even, Valorant, CSGO. I think all of these games have tried their best to add new content, but none of these developers have ever understood the idea of less is more. I can't hide from the fact that I straight up just hate Warzone now, and yes, even though at least for like a year it was the most popular thing, I think people are slowly starting to realize that yeah, Call of Duty Battle Royale, it was a good idea, it was a fun concept, but with the way that they update the game, it doesn't really make any sense. Valorant's a game that's been doing well, but it's only been doing well because popular content creators. So yeah, a lot of these games, they have not been keeping up very well at all, and they haven't really had a chance in this regard. Apex Legends, however, has created such a dedicated and loyal fan base through just honestly how damn good the game plays. And I think they're going to stick around with Apex, and they're not really going to go to any other Battle Royale because they're just not as polished. They just don't play as well. And with all of the new characters the game has added in its brand new Arenas mode, I think sky is truly the limit for Respawn Entertainment. I really think there's so many things that they can do with this game without alienating the current fan base, and they've done an amazing job of that so far. It's crazy to see its numbers of where it was versus where it is now. It is currently the most streamed game on Twitch, and it is basically, you know, really the only esport that I care about when it comes to a battle royale. The game was on the verge of being dead, and people were straight up quitting and leaving the game, but now you're starting to see some of those people come back, solely due to the fact that all these games have done a pretty bad job of maintaining their status as the king. I expect with the guidance from Respawn, Apex Legends will be able to continue going in a positive direction that keeps people around for a long time. Like I said before with my whole thing about Minecraft, obviously this game could just straight up fizzle out and, you know, start to die all over again, but unless anyone wants to come out with a brand new IP tomorrow that takes over the world, or, you know, Activision or Epic Games really just wants to step it up and pump out the next brand new update that will breathe tons of life into their currently dying game. Also, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, these games aren't dying at all. What do you mean? They have this many numbers, this many viewers, they make this much money. Of course, I know. Like, I'm talking down to billion-dollar companies. I know. I really shouldn't be the one who is, like, you know, patronizing them. But a good portion of the reason that Warzone and Fortnite have numbers is solely because people want to play those games to make money off of them, and that's just the fact no one tells you, is that a lot of people just get into gaming and streaming so they can hopefully make money. So yeah, and when the game becomes unfun, people quit, pretty much. Remember Daquan? Where do you think he is right now? Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this kind of sheds some light on currently where Apex and Respawn are at, and hopefully if you're someone who hasn't touched Apex Legends in a long time, you will come back to it. Hop on the bandwagon. Come on, we're all having a lot of fun despite the server issues and certain things about the game being kind of fucky. It's still more consistently enjoyable than these other games. And trust me, I am someone who has soaked thousands of hours into all of these games, so don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Join my community Discord, follow my socials in the link below and all that. And yeah, I've been Big Citrus, and have a damn good one.